The art of fatherhood. How to accept that we are vulnerable. You will be used and abused. You will be vilified. You will have words put in your mouth. You will have to defend yourself against language swords and verbal punches swung at your beaten body and bruised mind. You will not be able to relax. Words as projectiles of meaning and intention are flung far too often without much thought to their consequence. There will always be something or other going on or going down. At worst, the obsessive, futile quest to be first replaces the need to check and verify the validity of everything. Winners win and losers lose, or so they tell us. Whatever. In all important topics, emotions will play their part. Self is the hardest thing to control. You have to remember to breathe. You have to remember to remain calm. You have to remember that the right direction and the best intention will both require constant correction. Nobody knows everything, but that is still no reason to not know something about all the essential topics. Not for you is not always against you. However, you can expect other people to misrepresent you simply because they are not you, and they are seldom willing to cross-check or verify any information that is presented to them. The depth of understanding you have is only relevant to your ability to verify every piece of data that you have collected. The narcissists must come first, in their own minds and in the minds of others. After all, why should they not be first? They intentionally play the victim with such vigour and valour that they should at least be applauded for their effort. The secret to their effective slander is to weave the actual and factual between the obscure and fantastical, or to make once seem like always, and to be the first broad brush stroke across the landscape canvas of life. They know that it's hard to remove the poison from the well after it has been released. Narratives that are false and exist are always unfair and unjustified, except, that is, in times of war, where deception is paramount. Provocation is inevitable when nonsense replaces sense. It is imperative that you do not overreact, but that at the same time you do respond as publicly as possible to any false allegation or odd representation. You cannot allow yourself to be slandered, mischaracterized, or painted simply as a shadow, for whatever reason. The greatest impetus to move forward comes only when we embrace reality and shine as many lights on it as possible. Relevance and validity trump general opinions and overly inaccurate observations. Once is not always, as often is not sometimes. As relationships break down, you must be ready to counter the inevitable and parry the lunges. All criticism telegraphs exactly what everybody is thinking, and so tells you where they, the critic, stand, and so gifts you the opportunity to highlight the truth in your responses. Ignored we may be, but we can always be honest and relevant. Know this: your financial investments will be criticized. How you spend money will be frowned upon. Your allocation of time will be criticized. What you do and who you do it with will be dismissed as inconsequential. Your approach to society will be criticized. Your ideas and the principles underpinning their formation will be attacked. Your approach to the opposite sex will be criticized. Basic differences will be leveraged to the maximum. Your reasons for your actions will be criticized. Why you do what you do will be presented not as it is, but as it is perceived. Your use of language will be criticized. A passing thought becomes madness, and a word becomes a weapon. Your reasoning will be misunderstood and criticized. Your experience will be ignored while your opinions are trodden on. Your behavior will be criticized. Your positive attitude will be misrepresented as arrogant. Your promises will be criticized. Your words will be selectively used against you or just simply forgotten. Your perspective on the world will be criticized. How and why you did what you did will be rewritten by those opposed. Your work will be criticized. This happens simply because any occupation is an integral part of your world. And your results will be criticized. Your needs will be crushed as you will be expected to sacrifice everything. Alongside this, the pursuit of practical joy will be demonized. Of course, most of the time nobody will ask you what you think, how you feel, or why you do what you do. It is much easier to be blind and believe that you can see than it is to be fully conscious of all alternatives and all possibilities. Easy roads teach us little, except how to avoid everything important in life. The game of relationship catch-up and getting on the same page involves knowing what has happened, where you are, and where you are headed. Every day, the focus might need to be slightly different, but the direction must be the same. You can't really work together if your destinations are different. Remain aware. Those that love us will never really hurt us. Those that tell us that they love us may or may not feel what they say, and say what they feel. Those whose actions are incongruent with their words must be avoided at all costs. It's the little things that you have to notice. The sleight of hand, the focus, the misrepresentation, a word, a look, a motion. It's impossible to know everything that is coming, but if we attend to the right details, then our awareness of our own needs and the needs of others should grow to the point where we will be able to deflect criticism before it sinks its teeth into us with great effect. Most problems that exist in the present are a result of unresolved past mistakes. I acknowledge my responsibilities and failures and problems. You must too. However, the problems that we have lie far deeper than any present admission will allow us to admit. An important part of the real reason for conflict is that we have not resolved in our heads what has already taken place. Most of the time, the voices in our conflicts are not our own. They are but echoes of the past. Experience matters. Whether we choose to believe in something or not does not change the fact of what we have witnessed firsthand. We are able to show and tell. We are also able to listen and understand. And we must. Relevant criticism improves the situation for everyone. Meanwhile, irrelevant criticism is heartless. Heartlessness exists, even in a world clouded with unconditional natures. It is still there. Most of us have not escaped the past, but are dragging it with us, and it is dragging us down, drowning out the logic and empirical data. The proud and independent are able to go and grow their own way, but a stubborn person full of denial, trapped in the past, living in a cycle that will repeat over and over again until somebody wakes them up, will forever chase the wind. Stubborn people are often misguided by the nuisance of their pride. We all struggle with this. We also suffer the fate of time, which places its limitation on all that we do. This creates the pressure that kills or cures. Pain is inevitable. Suffering is not. Beware to suffer your own fate and not the fate of others. The challenge is in the realization that to become your own person is to challenge those ghosts from the past, which will put you at odds with the experiences and values of the rest of your immediate family. Empathy and kindness are simply choices we make to accept the light or to wander in the darkness, to criticize or to realize. Times of trouble will have their negative effects, but also they will pass. The art of fatherhood.